Good morning. Excuse me. In my last post, I talked about strokes, so I thought I would take some time. Today, I'm just going to talk about my first stroke. When I had my first stroke, which was the end of October in 2022, I was in the supermarket. That morning, I had taken my pills, but I had not taken them for quite a while before that. As I went around the supermarket, I felt like I was going slower and slower, but I was still moving and walking. Excuse me. I don't know if it was me or the world that was slowing down around me. I managed, I don't know how, because my hands, I was starting to have trouble moving my hands, but I did manage to pay at the checkout with my credit card. When I got to the back of my car, I could not get, you just have to press a button, but I could not get the trunk to pop, so I could put my purses away. For some reason, I don't know what made me do it. I went to the passenger side of the car. I did get it unlocked, and I got in, and I just laid down in the front seat, and I tried calling my wife to let her know something was wrong. And I was maybe 10-15 minutes from home, maybe a little more than that. I was just at the local grocery store. She came to me, and also, I don't know if she called the ambulance or if somebody at the parking lot called the ambulance, but the ambulance was called. I'll be honest, when I first got to the hospital, they thought it was like blood sugar, because the sugar was really high. At first, I was not slurring my voice. I did not have a droop, but we were still close to COVID time, so I had a mask on, so they couldn't see my face. At some time later, the first night I was there, they were actually talking about getting rid of me, like getting my blood sugar under control, get me out of there. But my wife noticed something with my voice or something, had me take my mask off, and she could see the droop on my mouth. I still have a little you can see sometimes, especially now it's gotten worse because of second stroke, but I'll talk about that another time. But I started slurring my speech. I started doing, a lot of the stuff you do when you have a stroke. So they kept me in the hospital, did the scans, etc., which at first they weren't going to do because, they were just blaming my blood sugar. I think I was there about 3 days. I was there for almost a week in total. But after about 3 days, my voice essentially came back to me. I don't know how, I don't know what, but suddenly I started talking normal. My wife was crying because she was just so impressed that I was just talking normal, and she just didn't think I'd ever do it again. I eventually got out of the hospital. I started doing a lot better about taking my meds. They set me up for rehab. I did physical therapy, which was because of they wanted to strengthen my leg, although it really, nothing seemed way off. I saw occupational therapy for my hand strength. I'll be honest, the hand strength hasn't really bothered me much. I, from the beginning, was picking stuff up pretty good. But I did have some mobility issues and some control issues in the hand. And same thing, I got speech therapy, but from my understanding they said that speech therapy was basically everything in the head, which meant my word finding. That was my big problem. I was speaking fine and normally, which I'm not anymore. But at the time, I was speaking normally and just needed I was having some word finding problems, so they focused on that and some just general mental health type help within speech therapy. After about 4 months, I think by the middle of February, I was back at work part-time, and I just slowly improved from there. And I really came out of, I was not 100% after my physical therapy, but I was definitely functional. My leg never really bothered me. To be honest, I wound up hurting my leg in an instant, like a year later, but I had some knee issues that were unrelated to the stroke. But like from that first stroke, I came back pretty normal. It was like nothing was really wrong. Some people knew I'd had a stroke, and some people talked to me. I had some really good friends who, try to help me out. But I don't know. That's my first stroke. If you got any questions, feel free to leave them below. I'll try and answer. But like I say, I really came out of the first one thinking nothing was wrong. Nothing was really wrong. I mean, I definitely had some work to do when I got out of the hospital, and I definitely went to some therapy and stuff. But I really thought everything was okay. Y'all have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.